Right now, there's still bullet holes in parts of the living area. One shot made it through from here to the bedroom. Minter says while he was being distracted by Blandford, Kelly came outside the bathroom, went into the bedroom, then to the jewelry box where he stole the ring. The shooting happened yesterday as 17-year-old Jay Johnson was on his way to school. Right now, his parents are staying by his side here at University Hospital, and they're also hoping that someone will be held accountable for injuring their son. Neighbors say this is the alley that was blocked off for hours following the shooting, while police searched for a suspect. According to the report, blacks and Hispanics are more likely to have their vehicles searched during a traffic stop, and they're more likely to be arrested following that stop. In close to 2 hours, students will start arriving here on their buses to head back to their classrooms. Hours ago, the principal tweeted that today the school will teach and learn stronger than ever. The store actually opened at 6 p.m. That's 2 hours earlier than last year. So far, with more than a dozen cashiers, as you can see, the lines are moving pretty smoothly.
It's hard to relive it all.
Lauren Williams is having flashbacks of Tuesday night when men wearing ski masks came into her home. Shattered glass and bloodstains serve as constant reminders of the man who pistol whipped, then shot her brother.
This is all spots where the blood was that they've taped off. You can see some of the blood on the walls and on the floor. And this is where I kept him until the paramedics got here.
In a statement, Chris Williams says, quote, "I was 1 inch away from being paralyzed or dead," end quote.
At one point, we really thought he was going to die. He was bleeding so bad.
Also in danger that night was her 9-month-old son, Colt.
Because we had just got home. He was still asleep in the car seat. I hadn't even gotten him out, so he was right inside our door. At one point, the shooter was actually standing right over his car seat while he was sleeping, while he was shooting.
Her fiance returned fire at the masked men, and that's when she says they ran out. Right now, there's still bullet holes in parts of the living area. One shot made it through from here to the bedroom. This isn't the first time the home has been broken into. Lauren Williams says thieves broke in and stole several items in the early morning hours twice in the last 2 months. What did they take then?
All kinds of stuff. They've taken, my fiance's a shoe fanatic, so they've probably taken close to 30 pairs of his tennis shoes.
She is thankful a life was not taken the third time around.
We're lucky. We're so lucky.
Rick, Vicky, tonight I can tell you that Lauren Williams is in the process of moving from that home on Whippany Court while her brother remains at University Hospital after undergoing surgery. If you have any information regarding this incident, please call police at 574-LMPD. Live here at Metro Police Headquarters, Anna-Lysa Gayle, WLKY News.
I'm thankful that I'm here to raise his daughter. I'm thankful anytime I wake up. I'm thankful for peace of mind.
Despite having to cope with the loss of her youngest son, Edna Richards is still finding things to be thankful for this Thanksgiving Day. On November 16th, Kenneth Richards was shot and killed on Moore Court in the Park Hill housing complex. He was visiting his girlfriend's mother's home.
She said she heard a car, and then she heard pow, pow, pow.
Kenneth's girlfriend says he was in the middle of changing 3 tires that Edna believes were intentionally slashed. She says his murder was a setup.
I know my son, he did a lot of wrong, street life, but he didn't deserve to die like he did. Nobody deserved this.
At his funeral on Tuesday, there was standing room only.
He was real, liked, and loved. People from all ages.
Edna spent her Thanksgiving alone, reflecting on the good times with her son. As the days go by with his killer on the loose, she is starting to lose hope.
I'm just tired of all the killing. Not just my son. I'm just tired of all the killing. Seems like it's not stopping. It hurts. It's going to hurt a long time.
In Louisville, Anna-Lysa Gayle, WLKY News. The National Park Service is hoping the renovations will help boost tourism in the city already benefiting from the 16th President's Heritage here in Hodgenville.
Here we have children's Lincoln books.
Rebecca Harrison's bookstore is named after Abraham Lincoln. In fact, you don't have to look far for the president in the city he was born in 1809. More than 2 centuries later, his presence is still felt.
When you look around this place, you see the area where Lincoln became who he ultimately would be. This is the Knob Creek place.
As part of efforts to preserve Abraham Lincoln's history in Hodgenville, the National Park Service is renovating the land known as the Lincoln Boyhood Home at Knob Creek. The federal agency took control of it in 2001. The first phase of the project calls for $1.8 million in spending.
This phase will improve the utilities. It'll provide the basic services that people expect.
Superintendent Bill Justice says the long-term goal is to renovate the Lincoln Tavern, which was created in 1931 as a pit stop. It has been out of service since 2002. The goal is to turn it into a visitor center where people can learn about the man known for signing the Emancipation Proclamation.
I'm anxious myself for it to be renovated so that I can see it.
The project will not only mean preserving the space that molded President Lincoln, but also more tourism dollars.
Abraham Lincoln Birthplace National Historical Park brings in over $9 million in economic benefit to the local economy.
Justice says more than 80% of that money comes from people traveling from out of state. Harrison is hoping she will also benefit from more foot traffic. The renovations are expected to be completed towards the end of this year. Here in Hodgenville, I'm Anna-Lysa Gayle, WLKY News.
I tried to get it out and I couldn't get it out.
Karen Redmond is struggling with the loss of her mother, Helen Fields. On Saturday, Fields' body caught on fire in this apartment as she was sitting in her wheelchair. She says Fields was smoking a cigarette when her lighter somehow exploded.
It's still hard to believe, and I went in there and tried to put it out, and it got littler and it got bigger.
A neighbor and an officer also tried to help Fields, but Hodgenville Police Chief Steve Johnson says the heat and flames forced them away.
When one of the paramedics got there with the ambulance, he grabbed fire extinguisher off his ambulance and sprayed her down.
Chief Johnson says when the fire was finally out, he walked into a horrifying scene.
When I walked in, the lady was sitting in her wheelchair, burnt.
Redmond says her mother will be greatly missed.
Mama just loved people. She was very quiet, and she didn't fool with a lot of people, but she loved people, and people loved Mama.
I mean, it's very tragic. My heart goes out to the family. You know, it's a sad way to lose a mother.
Now, Karen Redmond and Chief Johnson both recommend that people are careful when using lighters. The Kentucky State Fire Marshal's Office and State Police both ruled the death accidental. I'm Anna-Lysa Gayle.
When you arrive at the airport, you complete a surveillance form, which asks questions about exposure.
Dr. Muriel Harris says her temperature was taken twice before she was allowed to leave Sierra Leone last month. And when she arrived at Washington Dulles Airport, she was asked how she felt. She was in Freetown, Sierra Leone, visiting her 93-year-old father. The U of L associate professor in the School of Public Health says she took preventative measures while there.
Walked out of the store and walked to the store right next door, your temperature was taken again. So it didn't really matter where you were, your temperature was taken.
Sierra Leone is one of the countries heavily hit. Nearly 5,000 people have died as a result of the Ebola epidemic, according to the World Health Organization. Of that number, more than 1,500 people died in Sierra Leone. Dr. Harris returned to U of L on Tuesday, October 14th, but 2 days later, she was asked by the university to stay home.
Until the 21 days after I left Sierra Leone had elapsed.
In a statement, a spokesperson for U of L says, quote, "We had no reason to believe that this faculty member or any of our faculty, staff, and students were at risk, but it is our goal to address and alleviate any fears that had arisen out of this situation," end quote.
And people were afraid of something that they didn't understand and they didn't know, and they didn't take the trouble to find out anything.
Dr. Harris warns that people should be guided by science and not by fear.
The risk comes from actually physical contact. It's from physical contact, and it's physical contact with somebody who is infected. What we need everywhere is a vigilant healthcare system.